Hello, good afternoon. I want to start off by just getting to know some of the audience here. So if you could just raise your hand and let me know if you've deployed an application or something into production in the last 6 months to a year. Can you just raise your hand? Yeah, that sounds about right. And then keep your hand up if that application and deployment went exactly as you planned on day one. Yeah, that's about what I expected. So we all understand that the world is evolving faster than ever before, and that makes launching new products, and especially in AI, which I know we're all talking about today, more and more difficult. So my name is George He. I'm a senior product manager at AWS, and over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how we've completely redesigned AWS support to help you move faster at the speed of innovation. So let me show you what that means. Like I said, we know the world is moving faster than ever, so I've taken a bunch of screenshots from just yesterday of all the great announcements that AWS has made across Nova, Bedrock, CloudWatch, Security, GuardDuty, and S3. There's a new advancement, of course, from AWS, but all over the world, from the world of AI and technology and cloud, there seems to be a new advancement every few weeks. Each one seems to change the game, and each one potentially makes your current deployment potentially obsolete. So how do you keep up, and how do you choose? How do you know that when you go and deploy a specific configuration, how do you know that you're not making a potentially $1 million architectural mistake? So let me tell you a story, and I hope that it sounds familiar. I'm going to start from the bottom here, and I'll promise I'll fill it up as we go. But let's say that you're starting out and you are aiming to deploy something into production. It goes week one. Your CEO comes to you and says, hey, we need AI. I'm sure that's a common story these days. By week two, you're exploring, you're deep diving, but you're drowning in options. There's Claude, there's Bedrock agents, there's SageMaker. There's tons and almost infinite options for configurations. So how do you configure it correctly? By week three, maybe you are deploying it. Maybe you're working through it, you're testing it, but you're burning potentially through compute costs because you're testing configurations, because you're working things out. So here, you want to move fast, but you're dealing with decision paralysis. You're dealing with tons of decisions on your own. And then you start scaling. Let's say it's month 3, and I'm hoping that you're working very fast here. You launch, it works, and users love it. But 2 weeks later, it's 2 a.m. and your production just went down. And your phone is ringing, it's now 3 a.m., and things are off the hook. By this stage, you are potentially spending more time firefighting and putting out operational problems than you are actually building. So here, you want to build and innovate fast, but now you're stuck dealing with operations. And then, as you go, you start becoming mission critical. That means that you're going global. You have multiple regions. You have regulatory compliance issues to deal with, security audits to deal with. Your team is getting stretched thin because of all of these different pieces that are having to come together. Drift is happening. Potentially your training is falling behind. So now you're dealing with the reality of being a mission critical service that's operating at a global scale. And that, of course, makes you wonder, are you ready for what tomorrow potentially holds? So like I said, I hope this sounds familiar because this is a story that we at AWS Support have seen hundreds of times across hundreds of customers. So that's why we wanted to rebuild support from the ground up to meet your needs. That means that we wanted to shift left and be closer to your operations and be closer to the problems that you have and help you achieve what exactly you're looking to achieve. So by doing that, we believe that we will help you build faster and operate smarter. Specifically, here's what we're doing with our new plans. We are, number one, helping you proactively build resilient architectures and plans. That means that we help you to make those key decisions ahead of time so that you have stability now and down the road. Then we're using AI to detect issues before they impact production, meaning that these problems are identified earlier before they actually become a problem. Then our AI agents are giving context and collecting context across your accounts, across your workloads, so that we can pass that context on to support experts to help you identify exactly what the key root cause of your issue is. And that enabled us to deliver even faster time from our experts, faster response times from our experts, excuse me. And of course, contextually accurate responses and recommendations from our experts. So what does this all come together to look like? It looks like these 4 support plans. Starting from the very bottom, we have our basic support plan, which provides customers access to basic documentation and health views. But then here's the new stuff, is Business Support Plus, which offers you an AI-powered 24/7 assistance agent that can answer all of your questions. And if and when something does go wrong, you can always open a case with us, with support engineers and experts, and you can look for a response within 30 minutes. So this is that perfect level of support for those customers who are headed into production, who are working on that proof of concept, and when you're just looking to deploy that first application and get your questions answered. Then, moving up, we redesigned enterprise support. So enterprise support includes everything from Business Support Plus and access to a technical account manager, or TAM. That person will work with you to develop a strategic plan to achieve your goals. That also includes 15-minute response time for production critical issues. And that also includes AWS security incident response at no additional fee, which gives you access to security experts to help triage any security incidents. So now this is that tier for customers who are operating at scale with real users. And then finally, at the very top, we're also launching Unified Operations, which is our new highest tier of support. Unified Operations gives you access to a full team of AWS experts. So this team will work with you to provide guidance on everything from billing to security to architecture. And it also helps give you peace of mind during large deployments and critical events with a domain specialist engineer who can sit with you during these peak events. Now, I know I just spoke a lot, and it may be really interesting and abstract, but let me show you what this looks like by walking you through a hypothetical Gen AI deployment journey. Now, it's a hypothetical customer, but I want you to understand that these problems are very real because these are the problems that customers in aggregate have brought to us. So, continuing with my timeline, my very aggressive timeline from earlier, let's say you're 2 weeks into your Gen AI project. That means that you need to make architecture decisions now for your new application. But you're dealing with complex cost structures and differing pricing models between all the different models available to you. You have nearly infinite service configuration options, and you have potentially fragmented documentation between AWS, between third-party providers, and even your own code base. And all that time, your CEO or your tech lead is asking you more and more, putting that pressure on, looking for a launch date. With Business Support Plus, though, now you can simply ask those questions to our context-aware support assistant in Case Console. So I actually tried this last night. You can ask something like, hey, which model should I use for a customer service chatbot that gives me less than 200 milliseconds latency? Give the support assistant your requirements, give it some context, and it will help provide an instant recommendation in real time to your question. You can follow up, obviously, with the assistant with additional questions, or you can open a case to our expert engineers who can help guide you through configuration choices and even help make sense of potentially confusing documentation. So what does this all mean? That means that now your decisions can now actually be made on day one, and you're saving time on your deployment and dealing with fewer decisions on your own. Let's fast forward. It's now month 3. You've successfully deployed your Gen AI application. But now, like I said, hey, it's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, and an on-call alarm is going off because your production just went down. So if you're dealing with this on your own, what might you do? Well, you might get a cryptic error message that you have to troubleshoot. You might raise a case to AWS, but you're worried that an engineer may not get back to you in time. And all that while, you're losing customer trust, you're losing customer confidence, and potentially, worst of all, revenue every minute. Meanwhile, with enterprise support, we can help you navigate through that difficult outage. So your TAM can work with you before this outage even happened to help set up a failover zone, a failover region. That means that your customers may never even notice that an outage happened. You can raise a case, and within 15 minutes, a support engineer is working with you with all the context of your problem to help you resolve the issue. If it's a security problem, SIR, or security incident response, can alert you and connect you to experts immediately who can help guide you and triage the issue. And then after the resolution, your TAM can sit down with you, work with you, and figure out what went wrong and how do we actually build so that that problem will never happen again. And all this time, your customers may never even know that something went wrong. So what does this mean? It's not just faster support that we want to deliver here. We want to deliver a fundamentally different outcome to your customers. We're going to jump ahead again. We're going to go to month 9. Now you're doing your application is mission critical. It's operating at a global scale. So what does that mean for you? That means you have multi-region architecture decisions to make. These can be complex, these can be confusing, and you're going to have to convince a team that you're making the right decision every single time. You're going to have to deal with security and compliance challenges between regions. And most of all, every decision has a high risk, and you have zero tolerance for that risk now. That also means that when you do actually make a deployment or make a decision, there's an extended war room for your whole team every time you have that critical deployment. So even though you're now operating with that zero tolerance for downtime and you're operating at a global scale, that pressure is starting to put stress on your team. But instead, with unified operations, we can have a team of AWS experts who can help guide you through those difficult deployments. So your TAM can help you with global architecture design, which helps take away some of that decision paralysis. Domain specialist engineers can join you for key launches and peak events, providing you that guiding hand during critical events. And when things do go wrong, you can have within 5-minute critical incident response. So again, this goes beyond just making support faster. Now we're creating a strategic partnership. We're now looking to be a part of your operations, not just waiting by the phone, waiting for your call. So how do we actually do this? Some meat and potatoes. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but how is it possible? Well, we really focus on 3 key pillars, and I know there are 4 on here, so bear with me. But first is AI-powered intelligence. So with new agents like Support Assistant, AWS DevOps Agent, and Security Agent, they're now analyzing millions of deployments, just like yours, learning patterns and predicting issues. That means that AI is now handling the noise, and you still get instant answers to all of your questions. We're also doing proactive detection, which gives you real-time monitoring, anomaly detection, and predictive alerts, meaning that we see the problem before it ever becomes an incident, and we can detect problems faster than ever before. And then finally, all of this feeds into our human experts, who are the TAMs, the domain specialists, the 24/7 engineers. AI helps bring them the context, and they can bring their judgment and expertise, meaning both faster responses and more accurate responses. So you don't have to take my word for it. Of course, here are a few real customers with real results. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I want you to be assured that these aren't outliers. We have thousands of customers with AWS support who've transformed their operations with our help. So I want to recap, because I've been talking for a little bit now, and I may have lost you somewhere along the way. Here's what you need to know. There's 3 new tiers, of course, and we've always kept basic support. So there's 3 new tiers for 3 types of customers. Starting from number 2, we have Business Support Plus for those startups and businesses that are looking to scale. We have Enterprise Support for those organizations that are operating and growing at scale. And finally, we have Unified Operations, which is for those customers who are now operating at mission-critical scale. We give you 3 choices, so you can always have the option to choose based on where you are in your journey. With that, I invite you to come visit the AWS support booth over in C50, which is that way, and feel free to scan this QR code for any more information. With that, thank you, and come visit us to learn more.